What's up, guys? It's Ryan Allred with Pro Play Games. We just finished up Knoxville Regionals. I ended up finishing 28th place, so I got top 32, which means I won $250 and a booster box, which is always pretty good. This finish puts me at 325 points, so I'm getting pretty close to the invite. I played Pikachu Pikarom again, which, if you've been following any of the videos, that's what I've been playing every tournament. I've made very few changes to the list, but I'll go over the list really quick and then explain the changes I've made and potentially what I might want to change going forward for the last few League Cups in this format. So, looking at our attacker lineup, it's 2 Pikachu Zekrom, 1 Alolan Raichu, 1 Zorora, and Hoopa and Eelektross. The Hoopa's kind of the thing I changed here. I added in Hoopa. I just took out a Cherish Ball to make room for it, so it's a little bit less consistency, but Hoopa's just so important against the Mewtwo matchup and also Malamar. So I decided that it was worth it in those cases because it really just locks up those matchups where normally they can be really dicey, and it gives you a lot more options and more flexibility. Obviously we play the Tapu Koko Prism. That's what powers the entire deck. We have 4 Jirachi. Looked at cutting that if I need to add something, but it's just so important to start Jirachi that even if it's like a 5% higher odds you start it, it's worth it every time. We also play 2 Dedenne. There is a possibility to play 3. I ended up keeping it down to 2 just because you're rarely punished for only playing 2. The only times you get punished is when you start Dedenne and prize the other one, or if you prize both, and those don't happen often enough for you to really sweat it that much. What's more valuable is just having the bench space so that you can use other attackers and set up other win conditions. For our supporters, it's 4 Volkner, 3 Judge, and a Cynthia. I stuck with the Judge build because I expected to play against a lot of Mewtwo and other Welder-based decks. Really, Judge is great against Welder because you don't want your opponent to have 6 energy on turn 2. Every now and then you'll get a free win on Judge. You go first, you start Jirachi, you hit Judge, and your opponent dead draws. I had probably 3 or 4 games throughout the tournament that were just free wins because I had Judge in the deck. But mostly it's just to make the matchup a little bit unfair for your opponent, not so that you just stomp them right out of the gate. For our Pokemon search, we have 4 Radar and 2 Pokemon Communication. The Radars are huge, so we get to Dedenne. The Pokemon Communications are generally going to be to grab Tapu Koko. We play 4 Custom Catcher and 4 Electro Power. I really don't think those are negotiable. They're just so important to have. That's actually the first thing I count when I do a deck search, is to make sure I know how many are in the deck. We have 1 Tag Switch and 2 Energy Switch. These are primarily used so that we can Tapu Koko and get the turn 1 Full Blitz, but they're also cute later so that we can set up surprise attacks that your opponent may not have anticipated. 3 Switch and 2 Escape Boards. These are huge again just to get your Pokemon out of the active to hit the turn 1 Full Blitz. And we stuck with 2 Lysander Labs. Lysander Labs is huge against Guardian. It's like your only win condition against Guardian. I ended up playing Guardian twice, so I'm really glad I still had the 2 labs because I believe I won both of those. And without the labs, it's an unwinnable matchup, basically. 2 stamps. We've gone over this before, but the 2 stamps are huge because this is a Dedenne-based engine. So if there's a card you really care about, you need to play 2 of them because you're going to discard one of them early with Dedenne a high percentage of the time. We also played 11 Electric Energy. That's standard. I've only heard of like 1 time somebody playing other than 11. I've seen someone play 14 just to make the Pidgey matchup better. But going over some of the matchups for the deck, I feel like Mewtwo is probably still a little bit unfavored just because they have so many options. But I think I did beat Mewtwo all the times I played it in this tournament. But again, the game's kind of random, so you never know exactly what's going to happen. Against other Welder-type decks, so the other Charizard-type decks, I feel like Pikachu's favored. Even the Greens build, you're a little bit favored just because Judge is so powerful against Greens. Other than that, Guardian it's a little better than 50-50 because you have the labs. Nagquag I played against twice. Nagquag we should be heavily favored because we have the Hoopa and the Eelektross. You just have to play it very carefully. Usually that means using Full Blitz to attach 3 to Tapu Koko Prism. So you generally can't actually use the Koko Prism's ability, you have to just Full Blitz onto it to use it as an attacker. Other than that, I did play against Birds twice. That is not fun to play against. I believe this deck is favored against Birds. It's hard to say, but against Birds, what's so important is Aurora GX. The GX attack lets you get 5 energy back from the discard. So the turn after they use Articuno's GX attack, you have to be able to use Aurora's GX attack to get energy back on the board. If you can't do that, if you miss it, if they set up the lock before that's possible, then you probably will lose. I ended up beating Pidgey once and losing to it once. It's not fun either way. Even if you win, it's just not fun. But it was a pretty good tournament. Like I said, I finished in top 32. Pretty new coming back into the game for this season. So this is the second regionals. It's my second day 2 this year, which is pretty exciting. I'm 3 for 3 on League Cup wins, which is great. So we've got a lot going on with PPG. Once again, this is a video for PPG, obviously, so shout out to Pro Play Games and to Ultra Pro, our sponsor. We use the Ultra Pro Eclipse sleeves the whole tournament. I like they shuffle really well. Kind of lame calling them out because they're our sponsor, but I really do like the sleeves. They shuffle really well. Thanks for giving us a watch. You know, we're gonna have more videos coming out because, you know, PPG's doing pretty well this year, so we should have more videos for you as we get more finishes. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.